Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy Friday the 9th, which is weird because today I'm actually going to be ranking the Friday the 13th movies in from least favorite to favorites. And just so you know, these are just my opinions, and sometimes even my opinions on them change. And it's just how I feel. I'm not going to get into all the details of the actors and everything else and that. It's just a quick run through. You'll find all that on IMDb. I don't know all the actors enough to say all their names, so I'm not even going to try, and it'll save me from saying a lot of and and in what I'm doing right now. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to start right now with two honorable mentions, two fan films that you can find on YouTube. One's called Never Hike Alone, and the other one's called Never Hike in the Snow. Both are about an hour long, and they go back to the original sort of style of Friday the 13th. They're independent films, very low budget, but also really well done. And they also have, and I've forgotten his name, who played Tommy in for the third time in part 6. And I believe he's also in, the same actor is also in Return of the Living Dead. But anyway, I'm just going to get started. I got the pile here, but I have it upside down, so I'm flip it over. Anyway, starting with my least favorite, which is Jason Goes to Hell. And this movie can go to hell because this movie's a piece of shit. It's a piece of garbage, and it does have a few scenes in it that are good. There's a little Kane Hodder poking fun at Jason, calling him a pussy, I think. And there are spoilers in this, by the way. So, but if you're watching this, you've probably seen the movies. Anyway, it's not a very good movie, and I don't know why it was ever made. It was when Friday the 13th went over to New Line, and the guy who directed, I can't remember his name, and like I said, I'm not going to get into all that. Basically said, get rid of that stupid mask, and kind of went their own way, and it turned what started off a very simple premise: an angry mother getting revenge on campers for hello, I got a visitor, getting revenge on the campers for letting her son drown, to now there's this Voorhees thing, and it's a war, it's a curse, and it's all like, fuck out of here. Just turn it into nonsense. After that, next one is The New Blood. Now, this movie, I actually do like it, but there's just enough things in it to make it not higher up on the list of films, what I like and what I don't like. What I do like about it is that Jason actually finally has some competition, someone who's actually a threat to him, someone who can fight back, and she does, and she does it well. It's not a great movie, but I do like that. The ending, I think, is the stupidest ending. It's just bad. The ending is bad. Like I said, there's spoilers coming up, and this is one of them. At the beginning of the film, the girl, okay, she's psychic, and she's got abilities. It's basically Jason versus Carrie, if you want to be very blunt. But she has these powers, and her father dies in the beginning of the film because of the powers. And at the very end of the movie, he dies, and the girl, she's still a little girl. And she's an adult in the movie. And at the end of the movie, her dead father jumps up out of the water and pulls Jason into the lake, and it's like, well, where did that come from? Okay, I understand in the beginning, in the first Friday the 13th, it was sort of, it's a dream sequence. At least I consider it a dream sequence. Same with the ending of part 2, maybe, and part 3. Sort of, but this isn't a dream sequence. This was something that was supposed to have actually happened. Well, your father's not super Jason. He's not a superhero villain kind of guy. He's a dead body in the lake and pulls. No, stupid ending. Like, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. But again, these are just my opinions. Maybe you love that ending. You can. Why her father's reanimated corpse just suddenly jumped up out of the lake and saved her and everybody from Jason. No. Anyway, and after that, I got Jason Goes for a Boat Ride. Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, I understand there was a budget issue. That's why there's not a lot of scenes that actually take place in Manhattan. I think it's the third act. Don't get me wrong, though. Kane Hodder holds the film together. Like he once Kane Hodder became the definitive Jason, which I don't necessarily agree with that, but a lot of fans do. I think he was awesome when he played Jason from part 6 on. He gave the Jason character, an actual kind of personality. At that point, he was a corpse at this point. He was, I don't know if you want to call him a zombie, whatever you want to call him. He came back, and for those films, he had a very distinct personality that I think is really good for those films. It's not my favorite Jason, but he is actually really good and legendary at it. I'm going to get that out of the way because I don't want people to think I'm hating on Kane Hodder. But this movie, as entertaining as it is, and I do enjoy it, it does have a lot of things, silly things. Like, the end, why does he turn into a little boy? Why are they pumping toxic waste through the sewers of Manhattan? Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I live in Toronto, which is like a mini New York. And to my knowledge, we don't pump toxic fluid through or toxic waste through our sewer systems. So why would, and I can't imagine why they would do that in New York, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. And then there's a part where they kidnap the main character in front of her family and friends, and they're like, oh, if you come after us, we'll kill her, or whatever, you call the police. So they just go, okay, take her. You know, they don't, it's not exactly worded that way, but that's basically the premise, the idea. Oh, don't go after her. There's 2 of them, there's a bunch of you, grab a weapon and jump on these guys, you know. And then they decide to inject her with heroin. To my knowledge, I don't think junkies would actually take their needle and give it to someone else, but I'm not a junkie. I don't know the junkie rules. I don't know what they do, what the rules are in terms of what they do to people they don't like with their own heroin. And then 20 minutes later, or a couple minutes later, suddenly she's completely sober again. So anyway, and then also, how does it get from Crystal Lake to the Atlantic Ocean? You know, it doesn't make sense. It is entertaining, and I do like it. It's just, there's a lot of silly things about it. I do like the beginning where the guy gets the mask. Jason gets the mask from a guy who I guess is a Jason fanboy or something. He just happens to have a mask on the boat, and it happens to be the same boat that Jason, for some reason, is underneath. He somehow traveled from being near the shore to the middle of the lake, but whatever. It's not meant. It's a horror movie, and at this stage of the game, to be honest, they're not horror movies anymore. In my opinion, from 6 on, they're not really horror movies anymore because you're voting for Jason. You're rooting for him to win. You don't really care about the victims. But again, just an opinion. But yeah, and when he kills the girl in the beginning, she's in a hole. I don't know like what the parts of the boats are called, but inside like a storage area or something, he opens it up and he's got, I guess, what do you call it, like a little harpoon or whatever it is, and really, really slowly goes towards her, and she doesn't try and move it out of the way. She just sits there staring at it. Like, no, a normal person would smack it out of the way and try and defend themselves. And she just sits there staring at it. Like, I don't get it. But it's fictitious. It's, you know, and like I said, I do enjoy it, but there's just a lot of things about it that are stupid. Like, Jason becomes a boxer and punches a guy's head clean off. Like, no. But it's almost comedic, and that's why I said they're not horror movies anymore at that point. They're just entertainment. Definitely not a horror movie in my opinion, but still, I really like this movie. It does start going into the realm of ridiculousness as well. Like, I mean, it's the last actual one in the Friday the 13th original series. But I do like the idea of just kind of taking a completely different direction, putting it out in space and into the future, and it is kind of cool. It's more of a sci-fi action thriller than a horror movie, but entertaining to say the least. I do like watching this once in a while. It's kind of in the guilty pleasure zone, but pleasure zone. But it's kind of like in that sort of style for me. It's just a guilty pleasure that I like to pull out and watch once in a while. A New Beginning. I actually do like this. I don't even mind the ending. It's not Jason ending. It's what the hell, it's an impersonator, and I kind of like that. I thought it was a different kind of like a new idea because in part 4 Jason's theoretically dead, and then in this one here it brings back the Tommy Jarvis character for the second time, like the second appearance, a different actor. It's not Corey Feldman, but I don't remember the other actor's name, and I'm not even going to bother looking it up at the moment. But that being said, it's just a completely different idea, different mask, and I kind of liked it. You know, it wasn't bad. I got the remake. A lot of people seem to shit on the remake. Oh, it's a shitty movie. I like it. I think it because it goes back to the horror roots of Friday the 13th, and it's got the beginning is almost like a mini movie of its own, and then it goes into the main story. And yeah, it's a generic Friday the 13th movie in the simple sense of it, the basic sense. It's just he's out there doing his thing, but it has a little bit of a backstory. It makes more sense, ties up a lot of holes, like how Jason starts here and suddenly he's over here with he's got underground tunnels and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So yeah, I actually do like this. I think it was well done. I think the actor that played him fit the role of a guy who's living off the land and digging tunnels and obviously killing things to survive. He's got the physicality of someone that would be doing that, I think. The kills are really well done. Most of them are CGI, but they're realistic enough. It's not bad CGI. And I like his costume. I like, his clothes are in tatters, but they're functionable. And I also like how he gets the mask. They had to get the mask in there at some point, and he starts off like in part 2 with a sack on his head, which I like. The throwback to that. After that, I got part 4, the final chapter. You got Corey Feldman in it, which Corey Feldman, child actor of the 80s. He ruled the 80s in terms of child actors. He was in everything. Stand By Me, Gremlins, this. He was just all over the place. And I like his role in this. It's one of his earlier roles, I think, because he looks pretty young. And then you got Crispin Glover, who's great in everything. Is quirky, crazy, like weird guy. He's just, you see him in obviously Back to the Future, River's Edge. His music is check out his music online. Like just go on YouTube, look at his videos. They're the weirdest things ever. The guy's awesome. I love the guy. But and just don't look at that. Well, watch the David Letterman interview where he's out of his mind and probably really high on something. I don't know what it would be, but it's kind of funny too. But yeah, I do really like this. I like the ending. I like I don't know. It's just it still comes off as a horror movie, and yeah. Now it was a toss up between these two in which order because realistically, this one is a better movie, but I just enjoy this one just a little bit better. The 3D animation is a little bit. It's a lot of this stuff through the whole movie. Oh, it's in 3D. Okay, yeah. Which probably looked great in the cinema at the time, in 1983 or whatever it was that it had come out. But to watch it on home video on a regular two-dimensional screen, it's like all horror movies. Jaws 3, Amityville 3, that all come out at the same time and use the same thing. It's why is that suddenly in the camera if But I do like this one though. It's got some good kills. It's just goes along with the first two movies. It's supposed to take place, I think, after the day after part 2, or I can't remember, or if part 4 is supposed to take place a day after this. I'm not sure. I don't really remember all of that. It's got like this one where the mask shows up too. Mask makes its appearance, and you learn how he gets it. And it's very basic because I don't think there was understood that it was going to carry on, and Jason with the mask is going to become this iconic thing. So it's pretty simple how he gets the mask, but it's still good. The bike gang near the beginning, they're a little bit quirky and unbelievable, but funny. It's got some good jokes, and it's good. After that, we got Jason Lives. This is the first appearance of Kane Hodder, and it's when Jason comes back basically as the zombie Super Jason, I guess you could call him, Indestructible Jason. The third appearance by the Tommy Jarvis character, and again, he's the actor that's also in the 2 fan films and Return of the Living Dead. I like this one. I like this one a lot. It's not a horror movie anymore. Or I guess you could say this is the last one that was kind of considered a horror movie before they started to get really campy. But it is still good. And out of the top two. The top two are almost interchangeable for me, which one I like better, because sometimes, depending on my mood and when I'm watching it, sometimes I like one better, sometimes I like two better. It just all depends on what I'm thinking. But they're both horror movies. They're generic slasher films, but they're done well. But for number two, I'm going to go with the first one. It's one of the first horror movies I seen, and at the time it actually scared the crap out of me. I think I was 7 years old or 8 years old, whatever. But it was on TV, and I didn't really understand the movie, what was going on. But like I knew what was going on, but I didn't know why it was going on because I was still a kid. But I did like it as a kid. It scared the crap out of me, but I think it was the jump scare at the end that really got me. The dream sequence. But I do like the twist. You're expecting it to be some big burly man, and it's this angry mother. It's a woman, which you don't generally see a lot in movies, especially before 1980. And once you got into the 80s, then women did start making more of a presence as a killer. But I do like this. Pamela Voorhees and what's her name? Name escapes me. But she only did the movie because she needed money. She wanted to get a new car, and she always did these family friendly things, or more motherly type characters. And now a lot of her original fans were like, "What is she doing this film for? Like this is so below her." And a lot of people were upset by it, but I thought she was great. She has that voice for it, and she loses her shit, and she's just like, "Look what you did to him," and she has this angry, like, it just, wow, like it's a frightening sounding voice. I think she was really good as that character. But yeah, and my favorite one of the bunch is part two. Like I said, sometimes it interchanges. I just really like the Jason character in this movie. He actually runs. He's human. And it is a really good follow-up to the first one. Not really a whole lot I can say about this. It's just the special effects were good. It's not Tom Savini effects like in part one and part four, which I kind of forgot to mention, but it's still good. The head mask, or the head face of the decapitated head is what I'm trying to say, of Pamela when it's sitting in the back room of his makeshift house, and the fact that he has this little makeshift house made out of crap he's just put together and nailed. It just makes a lot of sense, like that someone could be living like that. Some psycho in the woods. I just like it, and it's still in the realm of horror. You're not rooting for the bad guy, you're actually afraid of him, and you're afraid for the people, and the characters, just like in the first few movies, the characters are actually really likable. And yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, all I got to say about these. But that's the order. You probably have a different order or a different opinion, and that's fine. And if you want to comment about it, like I always say, if you do, leave it friendly. Don't turn it into a war, because I don't have time for that. Anyway, this video ran a little longer than I expected, but hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to subscribe, I'm down there. I only got a few subscribers so far. It's not a super exciting channel, so that's why I can understand why I only got a few subscribers. But for those who are interested, I'm down below. Click, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.